Hey guys, my name is Joe, and I live in Tampa, Florida with my wife and 2 kids. I have a passion for people and craft beer, and I'm bringing them together on Bearded Joe's Beer Reviews. I've rated hundreds of beers on Brew Gene and Untapped, and now I want to share my experiences with you. I placed beers through a 4-point inspection: visual representation of the label and color of the beer, aromatics, taste, and just the overall enjoyment. Now, today we are reviewing Lump of Coal by Ridgeway Brewing out in England. And we also have on the show my good friend Adam Little. He is an electrician, he's an artist, entrepreneur, and he also moved to Tampa a couple years before I did, but we knew each other back in Oklahoma. So love to have him on the show today. So without further ado, let's let Adam in.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Nice to see you, man.
Good to see you. So glad to have you on the show.
I'm thrilled, man. This is going to be fun. I'm super happy for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a friend of Joe's. We've known each other for at least 15 years. We used to work together. A lot of hijinks.
I'm sure we'll tell stories about that.
Yeah, plenty of stories there. A lot of good times there. Some things we might not want to describe on an open channel like this, but we'll see. Yeah, right now I'm an electrical apprentice, electrician's apprentice right now for about another year, and then I'll be a full-fledged journeyman electrician. I'm many things.
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned, before you came on here, besides being an electrician, you also are an artist.
That's one of the things.
And
that's probably the most true thing that I am. Probably. I'm more of an artist than I am an electrician, but you gotta pay the bills. So,
well, I've never seen you do electrician work, but I have seen your, your drawings, and I was telling you the other day how much I really liked them, and I think you should sell them. So, people on here, buy his stuff. Well, before we go too much further, let's kind of get to our review, and then we'll tell stories along the way.
Okay, man. Yeah, this is be fun.
So just looking at this beer, what kind of strikes you? You being an artist, what strikes you about this label of the beer?
Honestly, I would say it's not all that evocative, really. When I just glance at it, I don't think Christmas at all. I don't really even see the coal. I'm like, I can see it's coal back there, but if it didn't say coal right on the bottle, I wouldn't even notice that it was coal,
No, I agree with you. I got Lump of Coal because I thought of us. We used to get each other Christmas gifts back when we used to work at OVI in Oklahoma. Yeah. We every year, if you don't remember, we got each other, little tiny gifts here and there. And I thought Lump of Coal from how good of employees we were.
That would have been what we got, what we deserved, certainly.
Exactly. No, we were pretty good. We just had fun side.
Yeah, we didn't maybe always project the most professional image for the company, but we did good. Technically, we did a good job.
Yeah, we did. I think so too. But I'm with you. I mean, I like the name Lump of Coal. It even has like a little, I don't know, up top, almost like a Christmas. Like a mistletoe. I don't know what that is, but the label itself.
Holly.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You know your stuff.
Well, I know mistletoe. After all, we are both from Oklahoma. You should know mistletoe.
All I remember is mistletoe being up in the tree, and you could and then you could just see it when all the other leaves fell.
It's the state. I think it's the state flower or something like that. I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
There's something like that.
I know there's
it might
so
not
many
be the
different
flower, but there's some connection there.
Yeah, there's so many different states, like the state rock song, the state bird.
Yeah, might be the state invasive weed or something. For all I know, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, you never know. Probably so. But yeah, the label. I'm excited to try it. Don't get me wrong, but the label itself doesn't really stand out as much.
It looks
as other.
It's not. It's like photography, but it's kind of like all just kind of Photoshop product, basically. and it's not all that pro looking, to be honest with you. But,
Yeah.
you know what I need my beer makers to be? Good beer makers, not graphic designers necessarily.
Yeah, I get it. I'm a geek on labels.
Me too, man.
So
I'm the same.
like when I'm looking at, go to a place, it always labels, pictures stand out.
For sure.
I got this, by the way. I got this at Jug and Bottle.
Jagged Bottle.
Here, Jug
and Bottle.
And Bottle. Yep, here in Tampa, Florida. So if you live in Tampa, Florida, stop by Jug and Bottle.
Sure.
It's a great place. Have all sorts of different beers there. So yeah, let's crack this bad boy open.
Let's crack it open. Are you going to go glass?
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a glass? If not, that's all right.
I got a glass. For you, I'm getting a glass.
I got to go change my jeans now.
Well, at least you're wearing pants, so.
Yeah. Yeah, because this chair is kind of sitting high, so if I wasn't wearing pants, you could see it.
That's one of the reasons I'm sitting so close to the camera. I don't want to accidentally,
Don't drop the your bottle opener.
Yeah.
And
hazards.
So what do you think of the color and the pour?
It looks like Coke to me. Like even the fizz, how like a lot of stouts have that kind of thick, almost creamy kind of head to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like a almost like a Coke. It's like sort of diminishing real fast. It's almost gone already.
Yeah. Is yours leaving? Mine's still pretty much there, but the way the bottle shape or the glass is shaped, that could be a difference. But the color, yeah, it's real dark. Can't see through it. The head on is, good size with like an inch maybe.
Yeah, look at mine. It's already gone. And it was like to the top. But
does you smell it? Anything stand out to you?
Getting some chocolate. A little bit. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit of chocolate. The smell's not that strong.
No.
But it's not, the scent is not extremely strong.
No.
Like some others, like other stouts.
It's kind of got that typical, Guinnessy kind of stout smell to me, along with the chocolate. Something else, I don't know.
Well, I know on the label, it says, no, it's the wrong part.
It did say, I did notice one thing about, I'm sorry, I don't mean to change the subject, but.
No, you're fine.
I don't know, I think this is a little bit of a jab to
America.
To our nation. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Made in England for the USA, and it's a lump of coal.
Yeah. No, it is. It was like made specifically for us.
Just for us.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean,
We're on the naughty list, Joe.
Before we go too much further, like going back to us when we worked, I was actually talking to some guys at my church the other night who brought up like a TV show that did a lot of improv, and they were saying like how hard it was to improv. And I brought up you and how we would like improv and just know that if you say something or if I said something, we would just continue the like outlandish conversation. So for the people listening, we worked at a blood bank and where people donated blood.
Yeah.
And so we would have
a blood bank in Oklahoma. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, a blood bank.
Excuse me.
So like he would sometimes have a section and I would have a section, and there would be donors, that come in, donate blood.
Yeah.
And we would start like conversations that weren't even really true.
No, rarely.
Rarely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember any that stand out to you?
Didn't you pretend to be a member of a band at one point?
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Uh,
in the circuits.
circuit, yeah.
The
And
circus is what stands out to me.
let's not forget an inventor,
The
the Froginator.
Froginator.
You even
And
had the
remember when
description down and everything. Yep.
we convinced someone, and I'm not going to say any names because I want to like bash this person.
No.
But this person like we joked and lied, but then people that are just that lie.
Yeah.
And this person was like, yeah, I saw that invention at Walmart. But yeah, that was the Froginator. I totally forgot that. And then our competitions as well. We had so many competitions. But let's save that for just a moment. Let's taste this.
Let's do that. Cheers. It is Coke. Just kidding.
What are your initial thoughts on the taste?
Sometimes I have weird ways of describing things. Tell me if this makes any sense at all. Dusty?
Dusty?
Dusty.
Like you're drinking in an old basement?
Well, this can't be if they intended to get this flavor and they nailed it, then that's impressive. But like whenever you're pulling down the Christmas stuff from the attic,
yeah,
after it's been up there for a year, and it's kind of, and you like open the box, it's all kind of got that mix of glitter and all the Christmassy stuff in there, like at the bottom of the box. It kind of has that smell, you know the smell.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, the year-old Christmas.
Yeah, kind
smell.
of plastic. There's just all these like potpourri of different sort of smells.
That's what this tastes like to you?
I'm sure I'm just like kind of primed by it being a Christmas themed thing, so I'm sort of psychologically primed to like be thinking about that. But that's kind of that was the first thing that jumped in my mind. I'm not getting much chocolate. There's not much chocolate really.
No, I don't taste a lot of chocolate.
I smell it more than I taste it. It's not bad. It's not
I can taste
great.
like a little bit of malt. Like I don't know what kind of malts are in it, but I can taste a little bit of malt. A little bit of chocolate.
Yeah.
It's not very strong.
It's not very big. Yeah, that same way. I mean,
it's not a big, huge flavor. So it's nothing that kind of you drink it and it stands out.
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, this is, I can smell it, I can taste it, I can almost like swim through it.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's still good.
Yeah.
And we'll give a rating for it in just a moment. It says it's like 6% on it, I believe.
7.5.
7.5. There we go.
Top center. English ale. Is it an English ale or is it stout? It says English ale on the bottom.
Well, it's an English ale, but on the back it says a dark holiday stout.
Yeah, it says stout right in the middle of the front too.
But so some of our stories, man, like the most fun was working with a few different people, and you were definitely one of them. We had so much fun. The competitions, one that kind of strikes out is the pieces of tape. You tell that story.
Yeah, so if you've never donated blood, the technician, phlebotomist, sticks a needle in and blood starts coming out into a bag, and you got to like tape the tubing down on the arm, so it doesn't just flop out. Typically, a skilled phlebotomist should be able to do that with about two or three pieces of tape. That's like 4, 5, maybe reasonable. But of course, everything becomes a game when you work together long enough. And you definitely dominated that one. I think you
we went back and forth. Remember, you were like, I got 6, and I was like, all right, I got that. And I was like, I got 9. And then you were like, oh man. And then you got like 11 or something.
Yeah.
And then there's a line of people. And this was at a high school. There were a line of people, we were supposed to go in order. And I was looking, I was like, who's my guy? Who's my guy?
Yeah.
And I was like, that guy. And I was like, come here. And he was, it's not my turn. I was like, I don't care. Come here. And he got on the bed. I stuck like 18 or 19 pieces of tape on this guy's arm.
Was he
And,
hairy? That's a good. That's
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Man, you're so
he
hairy.
was.
It won't stay.
Yeah, he was hairy. And then he said, I'm not trying to like tell you how to do your job. He goes, but can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, sure. He goes, why is there so much tape on my arm? I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Tape. And I was like, Adam, I was like, 19. And I think that's when we stopped.
I think there should be a stipulation to this rule to this game that if the donor can't like wonder about it, like if they notice that something's off, then you're disqualified.
What's the craziest thing you've ever said to a donor?
No, I didn't hit an artery. Well, I can't remember any of my tall tales. Because that was kind of the game too. Just see who can come up with the most ridiculous story we can get people to believe about our private lives.
Well, I once, this was at Southwestern Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. I said this to many people, and you probably remember this. And I told them, if you blink fast enough, you'll donate faster. And so you had these people like blinking real fast. And I remember this girl, she was kind of going a little bit slow, with donating. And she said, why is it taking longer? Am I not blinking fast enough? And I was like, well, let me see you blink. And she blinks, and I'm like, no. I'm like, you got to blink way, way faster than that. About 2 hours later, this big, gigantic football player comes up. He was like, hey. And he was like, are you the one that's telling people? I told my girl that if she blinks fast enough, she'll donate faster. I thought I was going to get my butt kicked. And I looked at him, I smiled, and I said, yes, I am. And he looked at me, smiled, put out his hand. He was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Shook my hand, gave me like an arm shoulder hug, and walked off.
That's hilarious, man. I told several people, I can't remember where I was, that I was a starting kicker at OU. And then I was just doing that as like a, giving back to the community kind of thing.
Did they believe it?
I mean, I look like a kicker, like who wouldn't believe that? Why not?
You do look like a kicker.
I could bullshit well enough to make them think I know how to kick a ball,
That's pretty funny.
Speaking of our old job, we both met our darling wives there.
Yeah, we did. We both met our wives there, and that's a good thing. And we worked in the lab too. So we both left doing blood drives and went into the lab. One of our April Fool's jokes was so believable that it carried on for years. I mean, until I left.
The execution there was really top notch.
Right.
I was proud of us.
So tell a little bit about that story.
It's different times. We didn't work at the same time, but
you worked morning. No, I worked mornings. You worked evenings.
So you had already been there.
Correct. So I had for like 7.
So it was easier for me because you set the stage for me.
Yeah. So I'll tell my part of the story, then you'll tell what you came in because we look different. But Adam and I got together and we were going to play an April Fool's joke that we got in a fight over a video game. Was that it? Or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
And like
it had to be something very, very trivial, and it got real violent. Like we were really going at it, trying to kill each other.
And neither one of us. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about you, but I know I'm not a huge gamer. I mean, at that point I did play some.
You don't often come to blows with your friends over video games.
So the April Fool's joke is that we got into a fight over a video game. I wear glasses and I'm totally blind. without them. So when I don't ever not wear glasses. I came to work, no glasses. I put makeup on my eye, like a bruise, and people were like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "I don't want to talk about it."
That was very convincing makeup work on your part,
Yeah.
by the way.
Well, then, and when I told them, it was like Adam and I got into a fight, and they're like, "No, you didn't." And I was like, "Yes, we did. We got in a fight over this." And then the story I told, I was made, it was believable. And then I also put makeup on my ribs. And I was like, look at my ribs. So I pulled my shirt like up like this, just because that's not something you would typically do at like work, And so I pulled up my shirt to show my ribs that were bruised, and they're like, "Oh my goodness!" And I was like, "Yeah, he broke my glasses, that jerk." And so I went the whole day without glasses.
You were probably a danger to yourself and probably everyone around you
And
the
then,
whole day, just for a joke.
I know, I was all in. And then you come in at 3:30, and you tell them what happened. You tell them what you wore, but I could hardly hold it together when you came in.
Yeah. Oh, me too, man. I was just like, I don't know how I was not just busting up. When I saw you, I was just like, oh my God, I can't hold it. I don't know how we managed. Yeah, I had like a one of those space boot, I broke my leg boots, whatever you call those things, and crutches.
Did you have a neck brace? No,
No.
Just a boot.
No.
Okay.
Boot, crutches, and pretty good shiner too on my.
Yeah,
on
and
my
you
eye.
came in on those crutches, and I almost just lost it.
Did we tell each other what we'd be wearing?
No,
Like,
I had no idea.
No,
I was just like, we were like, hey, let's pretend we got in a fight, and go from there and see how if it's believable. We went the whole day. We almost acted like we got in another fight at the table. Remember? We started.
Yeah, we got a little testy there. It's like, hey, you want to go another round, buddy?
And so fast forward, the next day or two, we people finally realized it was an April Fool's joke. Slowly, because we didn't say anything, but I think slowly people were figuring it out. But then fast forward, 4 years later? Was it about 4 years later when you left? When I
4 years? I don't
know, but
something like that.
A couple years, but I know you left before I did. A couple years before I left, and then when I left before I moved down to here to Florida, this older gentleman that worked in the lab that took the blood to hospitals and stuff. He said, question, he was, did you and Adam ever make up from your fight? And I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, about 4 years, how many years ago you and Adam had a fight, and, you broke his foot, and he knocked you in the eye. And I'm like, man, that was and I told him, I was like, man, that was an April Fool's joke. And he was like, really? And he was like, man, for all these years, I thought that you two really came to blows. That was a great April Fool's joke.
Tishomingo?
We'll share Tishomingo, I think, on the next time you're on this show.
Okay.
Derek needs to be on that show as well.
Yeah, we were really a trio, I think.
But so overall, based off of the label of the beer, the color of the beer, the smell, aromatics of the beer, the taste of the beer, what is your overall rating from a 1 to 10? Of course, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best beer you've ever had.
It's kind of growing on me a little bit, to be honest.
A lot of beers do that after you drink.
I don't think I've had enough to, for my judgment to be impaired or anything, but I kind of it has a little bit of an aftertaste. It hangs around my mouth. It tastes pretty good. Got a little bit of a spice to it. I'm kind of noticing more now than I was early. I think, sometimes when a beer kind of warms up a little bit, certain aspects will kind of wake up. I'd say it's about a 7.5, something like that. It's good, it's solid. Nothing to go nuts about, but I like it.
I'm with you. It's
enjoyable.
This type of beer, the stouts, you don't want it straight out of the fridge. You want it to sit out for a little while. Get it not room temperature. Some people like it room temperature, You know, I don't personally.
Well,
I like it a
like,
little chilled.
yeah,
I'm with you too. The color of the beer, I think, is
yeah,
great. You know, it would be up there. You know, 8 or 9. The head on it with my
yeah,
pour
nice.
was good. It's maybe the glass that I have. I don't know. Uh, the head was good on it.
Yeah,
Um, the label, you know, I don't like to knock labels too much because, you know, there's an artist behind the label and then there's a brewer behind the beer, but it's a beer review. So, I mean, that's what I do. You
yep,
know, it's not my favorite label. The beer itself is is probably around the, I would put up maybe a 6.5 to 7. Maybe I would say maybe
yeah,
6 to 6.5. I'll give it a 6.5. It's a good casual beer, so it's something that you
yeah.
can you can drink. You know, maybe take to like a Christmas party or whatever. It's not too strong. It's
I
not
agree with that. It's not gonna overwhelm
right, right.
most
So
people.
for people who maybe not just not into beer and want to maybe explore their
Hmm.
options, this would be a good beer to like kind of start that process.
Yeah, or they're like a Bud Light
Yeah,
type person, and they're if they branch out, sometimes you can try to go too far and grab a Chimay or something like that. And it's just like, oh god,
right.
Back when I was that person, the Bud Light person, I tried a Chimay and it was just like, what is this?
What
Like it was just too much for me.
when
I didn't like it at all. Now I love,
what was
enjoy
your
it,
beer
but
journey? Like when did you start like progressing into different types of beer?
well, my 11th birthday, I'm just kidding. No, I think the first thing I kind of thought of as more of a serious, sophisticated beer was like
Okay.
Samuel Adams. I think if I ordered a Samuel Adams, I'm going to be like, wow, this guy's a connoisseur. I like IPAs. I know it's kind of trendy, and kind of started drinking those, and
Nice.
I enjoy that. And stouts, Guinness. I guess Guinness might have been one of my sort of what would you call it, gateway
Gateway
beers
beer.
into
I like
more
it. Yeah.
less mainstream.
You mentioned Samuel Adams, and I think I mentioned this on one of my the first video. That was something that kind of was like my one of my stepping stones was Samuel Adams,
Yeah,
and then it just kind of progress from there. And this is my, I don't know, 501st beer. So yeah, I'm I'm gonna overall just want to rate it a 6. So not necessarily like a top of the line beers out there that things like that. I think it's good for a casual beer drinker, someone who's maybe, like I said, getting into the game a little bit more. It's not a bad beer.
not bad at all. If there was more and it was Friday or Saturday,
Yeah,
I'd probably crack another one.
yeah,
I'm
not too
enjoying it.
pricey. I mean, it comes single
Uh,
bottles.
what
Seven,
what? How much was it?
like
By the
I think
way,
it was like
just
$7 or $8.
how much of a factor do you take that in as like? Does the price make a big difference to you
Uh,
as far as rating it? Your impression of it?
um, not really, not really. No, but I mean,
Not really.
if this beer, if I saw this beer and there was like a 99 cent sticker on it, I probably wouldn't get it because I would, yeah, I would
You
think,
just
well, it's
ignore it.
probably
Yeah, you're
not
like,
that
well,
good.
truth.
If it had like a twenty
Yeah,
dollars sticker on it, I would get it for a special occasion. So like, yeah, if you guys go back and listen to the
yeah,
first video, we did Christmas Bomb, and those are a little bit higher in price and not as big as this. There are other factors, a lot of factors that go into me buying a beer. Some can be price, a lot of it's a
yeah,
label, and then just the type of beer. So like this time of year, there are a lot of, like you mentioned, IPAs. There are a lot of Christmas beers. There are IPAs, and I like IPAs too, but I like them more in the like the summer, kind of the warmer months. I know we live in Florida and it's hot, but this when I can drink a stout or a porter or like a barrel aged beer, this is a time of year. I like to drink those.
Probably I mentioned IPAs, but probably my favorite beer, I think I've mentioned it to you before, is,
Oh yeah.
Founders, of course, the company. Their breakfast stout.
Yeah.
It is fan-damn-tastic. It's like a really huge chocolate flavors in it and like oatmeal-y kind of flavor.
Founders,
so
they
good,
make
man. It's really good.
Incredible beer. Well, Adam, I want to thank you, for being on this show. So everyone go check out his Instagram, number one. Go check out, if he sells it in the future. Hopefully you will. Go buy it. I think he does amazing work. Just want to thank you for being on the show.
Thanks,
and as always, what I say, at the end, alcohol is meant to be a gift to enjoy and not to abuse.
Be nice to it. Don't abuse it.
Please comment if you've had this beer before. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, cheers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cheers.